Battle Rider Rayzor S2. Episode 13, Revelations Part 3. The whine of colliding energy blades filled the Coral Cove air, a harsh counterpoint to the peaceful sounds of the nearby ocean. Hyper Rayzor, his gold armor gleaming under the afternoon sun, locked swords with Maverick Omega. Sparks showered the rooftop as Photon Edge met its emerald counterpart, the force reverberating through their armored forms. Below on the streets, a chaotic swarm of chrome and black ride troopers surged forward, their blank, emotionless visors reflecting the light. Their target, the blue-armored battle rider Siren. "Time to introduce these bucketheads to a little arc blaster justice," Siren declared, hefting his weapon. Just as the ride troopers were about to overwhelm him, a red blur slammed into their ranks. "Going somewhere, Chrome Dome," Drive quipped, his vortex band shimmering. Ride troopers went flying, their armor dented and sparking. From the opposite direction, a whip-like strike sent another cluster of ride troopers sprawling. Velocity, in his crimson and white armor, moved with a speed that belied his size. "Don't worry, Matt. Eddie's got your back," he shouted, flipping a ride trooper over his shoulder with practiced ease. Drive parried a clumsy blow from a ride trooper before kneeing him in the chest, sending him collapsing. "Seriously, do these guys even know when to quit?" he joked, narrowly dodging a blaster shot. Siren, blasting ride troopers with precise bursts from his arc blaster, shook his head. "The real question is, does the Shadow Network even care that they're just throwing bodies at us? These guys are dropping like flies." Velocity spun, deflecting a barrage of energy blasts. "Doesn't matter," he grunted. "We just have to keep them busy. Give Liam the opening he needs to deal with Maverick Omega. One-on-one is where he shines. With Hyper Rayzor, no one can beat him." Above them, the dance of destruction continued. Hyper Rayzor fainted low with the Photon Edge, forcing Maverick Omega into a backflip. Before Maverick could recover, Hyper Rayzor unleashed a barrage of blasts from his Delta Max blaster. Most were deflected by the green energy blade, but a few shots scored, sending sparks flying from Maverick Omega's armor. Hyper Rayzor, not giving his opponent a moment to breathe, launched himself forward, a whirlwind of golden energy. He wielded the Photon Edge in one hand and the Laser Blade Saber in the other, forcing Maverick Omega to barely evade the dual assault. The air crackled with the raw power of their weapons. Meanwhile, back at the Special Missions Department headquarters, Zara and Erica were burning the midnight oil. "I've got something," Erica exclaimed, almost knocking Zara off her chair. "I found a backdoor into the Shadow Network servers through that communication link they were using." Zara shoved Erica aside, her fingers flying across the keyboard. "Forget the network, I need everything on Maverick." Files zipped across the screen, schematics, battle reports, and finally the blueprints. Zara's eyes narrowed. The technology was undeniably based on her father's designs. Next, she found the device's designation. The chrono timer, a watch, communication device, and transformation device, all rolled into one. Then the file that made her world tilt, Maverick's identity. Her breath hitched in her throat as she clicked it open. She almost collapsed. The screen displayed a high-resolution image. A familiar face stared back at her, a face that haunted her dreams. It was Jason, or at least someone who looked exactly like him. Without a word, Zara bolted, adrenaline surging through her veins. She raced to the garage, threw herself onto the black and white battle cycle, and tore out of the SMD headquarters, the engine screaming in protest. Back in Coral Cove, the battle raged on. Hyper Rayzor and Maverick Omega were locked in a brutal exchange of blows, moving with such speed they were little more than blurs. The three other riders, having cleared the streets of ride troopers, joined Hyper Rayzor. Together, the four riders engaged Maverick Omega, each strike charged with energy. But Maverick Omega was a force to be reckoned with. He moved with terrifying precision, knocking aside Drive, Siren, and Velocity's attacks with ease. Hyper Rayzor, however, was a match for him, the two exchanging blow after blow, their armor scarred and smoking. Suddenly, the roar of an engine pierced the air. The black and white battle cycle screeched to a halt nearby. "Wait!" Zara's voice cut through the din of battle. Hyper Rayzor stopped, confusion evident in his stance. "Zara, what are you doing here?" Zara ignored him, her gaze locked on Maverick Omega. She stepped towards him, her voice trembling slightly. "I know who you are," she said. "I know your identity." Maverick Omega stood his ground, his stance rigid. Are you really Jason?" Zara asked, her voice barely a whisper. Maverick Omega deactivated his helmet, the green energy dissipating to reveal the face Zara had seen on the screen. He looked like Jason, but there was a coldness in his eyes that she didn't recognize. Zara took another step closer, her eyes searching his face for any flicker of recognition. "Jason, is that really you?" Maverick Omega's jaw tightened. "No," he said, his voice flat and devoid of emotion. "Leave, Zara." "No," she insisted, tears welling up in her eyes. "You look just like him." She reached out and touched his hand. A flash of images flooded Maverick Omega's mind, childhood memories, laughter, a shared bond. He stumbled backward, clutching his head, pain lancing through his temples. "I'm not Jason King," he cried out, his voice raw with torment. "I'm a clone, created by the Shadow Network. My name is Jackson King." Zara touched his hand again, her touch desperate. "It doesn't matter," she pleaded, "as long as you have Jason's memories." "I do," Jackson whispered, his voice barely audible. Suddenly, a chorus of metallic footsteps echoed around them. Ride troopers materialized from the shadows, surrounding them with their menacing presence. A silver-armored ride trooper stepped forward, his voice distorted by a vocoder. "Subject Maverick has deviated from his programming," the silver ride trooper intoned. "Protocol dictates termination of all hostile elements, including Subject Maverick." Jackson's eyes hardened. He turned to face Zara, a new resolve in his eyes. He reactivated his chrono timer, the green energy swirling around him as the Maverick Omega armor reformed. He walked past Zara, standing shoulder to shoulder with the other four riders. "Let's do this," he said, his voice now filled with purpose. 5 armored figures, each a beacon of defiance, stood against the chrome and black tide. With a united roar, they charged. The ride troopers stood no chance. Drive became a whirling vortex of destruction with his speed. Siren's arc blaster spewed bolts of pure energy. Velocity's strikes were lightning fast and devastating. Hyper Rayzor and Maverick Omega, fighting back-to-back, cut through the ranks with their energy blades. In minutes, the battle was over. The remaining ride troopers, demoralized and outmatched, retreated into the shadows. The 5 battle riders deactivated their armor, reverting to their civilian forms. Liam, Steve, Matt, and Eddie stood alongside Zara, facing Jackson. Zara stepped forward, her eyes searching Jackson's face. "Come back to SMD with us," she pleaded. "Let us help you." Jackson hesitated, his gaze flickering between Zara and the other riders. He shook his head. "I can't," he said, his voice filled with regret. With a final, lingering look at Zara, he turned and walked away, disappearing into the city. Liam placed a comforting hand on Zara's shoulder. "At least it's over with the Shadow Network," he said, trying to reassure her. Meanwhile, in a deserted alleyway in Coral Cove, a swirling vortex of energy materialized. From it stepped a figure clad in black and white armor, Battle Rider Rayzor Zero. He adjusted his Omega buckle, his face grim. He consulted a small device on his wrist, checking the date and time. "They're here," he muttered to himself. "I have to find Rayzor and the others. A dark future is coming and they need to be warned." The end.
Stronger than before, battle riders go! Dracos have barely gone cold. Another dark chapter, a story unfolds. The peace was a lie, a breath in the grave. Now shadows bleed out at the end of the day. Liam feels the armor phantom weight on his soul. A promise he kept that's now taking its toll. Venus has risen, the demon lords claim to burn Coral Cove in insanity flame. We are the broken, the last line to fight. Unleash the fury and shatter the night. Against the abyss we stand and defy. In the face of the darkness you'll hear our war cry. They'll scream the name, Battle Riders! The asphalt melts under a sickening glare. Steve pushes the engine, a blur of despair.